Northwest Nevada, home to Lake Tahoe, historic Carson City, and the Comstock mining country. Once known for its underground riches of gold and silver, today the region is recognized for its scenic beauty, wide open spaces, abundant recreation, and a growing, vibrant economy. Like many parts of the arid West, water is a precious commodity here, influencing where people have settled and how they have lived. Many have depended on the life-giving waters of the Carson River, from the ancestors of today's Washoe and Paiute Shoshone Indian tribes to the prospectors and ranchers who came to the area as part of the Westward California Gold Rush. Soon after the gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill in California, prospectors uncovered the Comstock Lode in the Virginia foothills north of the Carson River. The Comstock Lode was the richest silver strike in American history, forever changing the Carson watershed as the river was harnessed to mill the ore and irrigate ranch lands for settlers. Today, prospectors of another kind seek out Carson River country, people longing for wide open spaces, mild climate, and a piece of Nevada's well-known independent lifestyle. Many have settled in the cities and towns along the Carson River, making the Carson watershed one of the fastest urbanizing regions in the country. The Carson River watershed, those lands surrounding the river, the lands whose snowmelt and runoff make up the river's flows, total over 3,900 square miles. The Carson begins its 184-mile journey as two separate forks high in the Sierra among the Ponderosa and Jeffrey pine forests in Alpine County, California. Growing from tiny mountain brooks to rushing streams, the two forks of the Carson flow into Nevada through the expansive irrigated pastures of Carson Valley, joining together to form the wide channel of the river's main stem near the historic community of Genoa. The river continues, flowing north from Douglas County into Carson City, then turning eastward through the Lyon County communities of Mound House and Dayton and on to Silver Springs, where it empties into Lahontan Reservoir, the crown jewel in a huge irrigation delivery system which serves the farm and ranch economy of the Fallon area and Churchill County. From Lahontan Reservoir's outlet, the Carson meanders northeasterly through the farmlands it feeds, then onward through the sagebrush country of Nevada's vast inland desert, and on to its end in the Carson Sink, a remnant of an ancient endless sea. Water is also diverted from the Carson River to the Stillwater National Wildlife Refuge, where over 14,000 acres have been dedicated to the development of permanent wetlands protected for migrating birds, waterfowl, and other wildlife. Once seemingly a boundless resource that gave life to everything it touched, the Carson River today has come under more and more pressure from the communities which have grown up around it, human as well as environmental needs. In recognition of the competitive pressures placed on the river system, a unique multi-county agency, the Carson Water Subconservancy District, the CWSD, has been established to serve as a guardian of the river. The CWSD works with agencies and organizations that are dedicated to maintaining the delicate balance of the Carson watershed, whether it be for ensuring safe water supplies, providing irrigation water for farms and ranches, protecting critical floodplain lands, preserving wildlife habitat, or providing recreational opportunities for the wide diversity of residents and visitors to our region. The CWSD has no small task before it, for many issues face the Carson River today. Years of man's use and natural changes have all taken a toll on the Carson. Urban, farming, and ranching diversions have reduced flows in the river, sometimes leaving only a trickle of water in the Carson's wide channel. Past attempts to tame the river and straighten its broad bends have led to extensive erosion of the Carson's banks as the river seeks a more natural course. This erosion reduces water quality and stream bank stability. To address these impacts, many organizations, such as local conservation districts and the Western Nevada RC&D, have been working with communities on river restoration projects through the Carson River Workdays. Over 10,000 community members have taken part in the Workdays since their conception over a decade ago. Other problems threaten the Carson. Toxic drainage from long-abandoned mines still reach the river, adding heavy metals and acids to the fragile system, making some stretches of the river unfit for aquatic life. Rapidly sprawling urban development on valley floors and sensitive floodplains is hindering the river's ability to access its floodplains and function naturally during heavy flood events. The increase of impervious surfaces such as concrete adds to the challenge of managing stormwater and urban runoff. The CWSD is working together with all of the Carson River's major water purveyors to address the feasibility of constructing a regional system to tie together the separate communities along the full reach of the Carson to meet the ever-growing demand for a safe water supply. Although water supply is often an issue in the arid West, sometimes there is too much water in the river at one time. The CWSD is also involved in flood control and flood damage mitigation. New Year's 1997 brought with it a devastating quick snowmelt in the Sierra that sent flood torrents down streams and rivers, inundating many valleys below here in northwest Nevada. Throughout the region, rivers overflowed their banks, flooding farms and ranch lands, destroying homes, businesses, roads, and bridges. The Subconservancy District helped to coordinate the repair work along the Carson River, serving as the clearinghouse for funds from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to ensure that federal aid was quickly provided to local governments, residents, and business owners who were shackled with the enormous cost of those repairs. Following the flood of 1997, many local officials, natural resource managers, and local residents and business owners took part in a Carson River conference to determine how to better understand and manage the river's resources, and perhaps how to prevent such flooding devastation in the future. As a result of this conference, a local watershed planning process was begun to ensure the continued health of the river and the lands through which it runs, culminating in the formation of the Carson River Coalition. The stakeholders of the CRC represent many local, state, and federal agencies, as well as environmental and citizens groups, university staff, and private citizens who took part regularly in this public open process. One of the early activities of the CRC was to develop 11 broad goals or guiding principles for the watershed. The guiding principles were later adopted by all of the counties and cities within the watershed. Included in the guiding principles is protection of private property and the inclusion of all stakeholders in the process. So, too, is the respect for the natural resources of the river and the preservation of open space, especially in the floodplain. Other guiding principles include wise stewardship of the riparian, wetland, and upland resources, and providing more recreational and educational opportunities throughout the watershed. The guiding principles became the backbone of a regional stewardship plan for the Carson River. This plan provides a roadmap for restoring and protecting the Carson River system and meets the U.S. EPA requirements for watershed plans by providing strategies for reducing non-point source pollution, the main source of pollution in the Carson River system. At a watershed conference held in 2004, stakeholders recommended that a regional floodplain management plan be developed to address the challenges associated with flooding and increased loss of critical floodplain lands. With funding obtained by the CWSD, the CRC River Corridor Working Group developed strategies for reducing flooding impacts and for protecting the remaining floodplains along the Carson River. When adopted by all 5 counties along the Carson River, this unique regional approach to floodplain management will set an example for other watersheds across the country to follow. Outreach and education is also a critical part of watershed management and protection. The CRC Education Working Group's vision is for all citizens within the Carson watershed to have a deeper understanding of and commitment to the Carson River Basin. The group was successful in obtaining funding to expand the popular River Wranglers program from Lyon County into all 4 Nevada counties here in this part of the state. The goal of this program is to work with every school within the watershed and provide students hands-on learning opportunities. The education group also developed the Explore Your Watershed program that is based on the very popular Our Lifeline in the Desert watershed map. The program includes an interactive website, lesson plans, and an interactive watershed learning center at the Children's Museum in Carson City. This program has won national, state, and local awards as an effective education program. Also, to further involve community members, the group organizes an annual Snapshot Day on the Carson River. And, once a year, community members from Alpine to Churchill counties get the opportunity to participate in water quality sampling and habitat monitoring under the direction of a resource professional. Today, the future of the Carson River watershed is bright, thanks to the efforts of many dedicated individuals and local, state, and federal agencies and nonprofit organizations. The Carson River watershed, rich history, limited supply, growing demand, and unique resources. The Carson Water Subconservancy District and the Carson River Coalition working together to maintain the delicate balance of the Carson River watershed, a place we are proud to call our home.